your ass get blasted, so.
Walking down the street and my all-stars and my khaki suit, doing what I do. Walking down the street, smoking chronic in my black loops, looking at you.
There's a certain story, I think, you know, kind of like really when he would like go into the backyard in my grandma's house and play with like rats and pick up dead rats and shit like that, you know. And my grandma, you know, my grandma, Big Mama, scared. She ain't fucking with no rats. She's like, you know, and she would like be like, Jason, go get the, you know, go get the little, and this nigga be out there go scooping them right up, you know. She like, you're kind of like, you're game for anything. That's kind of like where it kind of started from. I think he took to that.
He's a giver. Niggas no game. Jason L. Taylor, the nigga's a giver. He said on the Doctor's Average, nigga, I spent 1.5 on my niggas. That wasn't some shit he just made up.
Don't get it twisted. He's definitely an intellectual and very smart individual.
I think there's two issues, you know. There's Game as an artist, and then there's Game the person.
You can definitely find negative in anyone, but I think there's a lot of positive in Game, and you can see where he helps a lot of people, like he helped myself.
I am who I am. I'm a man, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm hip-hop. First thing that I can ever remember in my life would be a memory of me on my father's shoulders. He had this big fucking afro, man, and we were at like some music fest, and I think like LA Dream Team, Africa Bambaataa, and the Sugar Hill Gang, and all these cats were playing there. And I just remember being, you know, on a big grassy area on my father's shoulders, and I can just remember how good it felt to be so high, you know, on the top of anything was real big, and I felt protected on his shoulders, high up above all the rest, and should say I never came down. My pops was around when Tuki was around, and you know, I don't know, maybe Tuki started the Crips, maybe somebody else did, who knows. I just know that they were all pioneers of this major catastrophe that we're all entrapped in, and he ran with the Nutty Block Crips, and that's the area that we grew up in the early portion of my life, because that's where my grandfather and my grandmother lived. Worked at the post office, and she bust her ass, man. She worked the graveyard shift, and my dad, you know, I'm pretty sure he was out hard working too. You know, just wasn't, you know, it wasn't working for the government. It wasn't working, you know, a real man. I mean, not a real man's job, but a working man's, you know, job. My dad ran the streets, and he's what I like to call a night crawler. You know what I'm saying? It gets late night, and you know, my dad starts crawling, and he came back with what he needed to, you know, provide for his family, and so it was all good with my mom and the rest of us, because they were both providers in the early stages.
I loved Tom Jones, and so we went to a club called the Carolina West, and we used to hang out there on the weekend. It was this real nice club by the airport. And they used to have like telephones on the table where you know, if you seen a guy or a girl, you could call the person on the phone or whatever. And so when I went into the club, like the second time I went in there, I seen him dancing on the stage, and I was like, oh my God, he looks like Tom Jones. And everybody was like, hey, leave him alone. I was like, no, I gotta have Tom Jones. And so that's basically how we met. He was sitting at a table, and it was like, I think his phone line was like number 23, and I picked up number 23, and the rest was history.
Me and Lynette started hanging out together, and, you know, being a boyfriend, girlfriend thing, and we had our son. Yeah, so, I don't know, I don't knock Miss Lynette. She loved me, and I was a screw up back then, you know.
Well, later on in life, what I, you know, found out from talking to him was he said that, you know, it was the drugs that he was using. Because, you know, in the beginning, we had a very, very nice relationship, a very nice, loving relationship with our kids. And, you know, I guess it was drugs. Like I said, I never used drugs. I don't know the effects that they do to people. I've seen people on drugs, so I'm going to take that for its excuse.
I wish that someone had schooled me as a young man growing up in the art of love. And, you know, the art of taking care of a woman. You know, I had to learn that on my own through trial and error. You know, I hope that Lynette finds in her heart to forgive me one day, because I wish I could have loved her the way she loved me.
One thing about my dad, man, is that he's always been a guy with a big heart, you know? But when you have a big heart, you can have big other things. You have a big ego, you know what I'm saying? You could have, you know, big bad intentions too, you know? My dad's a poet, which I'm pretty sure that's where, you know, my knack for, you know, lyrics and writing come from.
The night began, serene with beauty, and there was mystic magic in the air. The clouds, the sky, the soulful sounds of black nightlife were everywhere. I slid behind the steering wheel so smooth it seemed an act. A sharp young black man, yes I am, in a cold black Cadillac. My mood was just the perfect mood for what I had in store. To catch me a fine young sister. Better yet, 3 or 4. Me and my brother, Big Greg, Big Collar, Greg Taylor. As I said, he was my hero, but fortunately, my hero went to prison for years and years. So when he got out, he had this big 6-foot white girl with him from Canada. So I told him he could come stay with me. And I was married to Big Face's mother then. She was 6 foot, and she reminded me of real. I didn't never understand that, because I didn't want to be with no woman big as me. So I guess prison make you like that. So I just let him come stay with us. But I woke up one morning, my son, little George, was crying. And he said, Daddy, she's stealing my food. She's taking my food. Well, the girl had took his bowl, and she was eating his food. So I even went and woke my brother up and told him he had to leave. You know what I mean? You got to get her, and you got to go, man. So he started talking a gang of shit that I didn't really want to hear, and I had to hear because he was bigger than me. This guy got 24-inch arms. I was listening for a little bit, and then my mouth shot out, and then before I knew it, he had socked me. My girl told me I was out for about 15, 20 minutes. But he hit me and I was gone. When I woke up, he was gone.
My Uncle Greg was in and out of jail and started doing heroin, heavy, you know, and he wasn't, you know, like really into drugs, but, you know, he started getting stressed, and, you know, my Aunt Alicia, you know, they start having problems because he start forgetting what mattered to him most. He cared so much about everybody else. He started forgetting about himself, and he started to slip. Him and my dad always did drugs, and, you know, he had a stronger tolerance. He could control himself.
I had this personal image to upkeep, so nobody really knew that I was on PCP. Later on, when I hit rock cocaine, the same thing. I smoked rocks, you know what I mean? I got caught up one night. I was selling it, you know what I mean? I couldn't find nobody to test for me, so I tested myself. I ended up smoking that shit. I smoked up all my shit.
My dad did, you know, certain things that he'll admit or won't admit from being, you know, on heroin. But he always seemed to come back to life, you know. My Uncle Greg went somewhere in his mind and never came back. So he robbed, you know, a local heroin dealer a couple times, just beat him up a couple times, and this certain dealer got prepared the fourth or fifth time and wasn't gonna let my Uncle Greg take him down this last time, and my Uncle Greg indeed tried it, and he stabbed him to death.
Yeah, and crackhead Compton, he hit like a big snowball going down the hill. Everybody wanted a piece of the pie. It was easy money, and you know, somebody had to sell it and somebody had to smoke it. So, man, it just got really bad. You know what I mean? That's when the gangs got really crazy. Everybody started driving drive-bys. They started doing you know, neighborhood against neighborhood. You know, who's gonna make the most money? You know, so it just got real out of hand. Just out of hand. There's so many lives were lost behind crack. And it wasn't so much as everybody thought it was a gang banging, it was the crack. You know, back when I was a kid, we had gangs too, you know. Well, I wasn't in a gang. Well, I was in a gang. I take that back. I was a Crip in Compton. But back in the day when my brother and them was gangs, when I was kids, they had, you know, everybody would meet up in the park to fight. Kind of like in West Side Story. The old days, that West Side Story was about, you know what I mean, more about camaraderie. You know what I mean? That was when everybody had each other's back. You just didn't cross into nobody's neighborhood. They was gonna crack, you was getting cracked upside here with a brick, a baseball bat, or the most potent enemy in the neighborhood was big brothers and cousins.
My father was a big guy, 6'4", you know, 220 pounds, all muscle, but he loved my mom though. And no matter what he did with whatever woman or whatever other kids he had, he loved my mom. They both kept coming back, you know, until that one night that seemed to sort of tear who I am as a person in half for the remainder of my life.
Whether I was unconscious or I was conscious about it, I was a grown man and I should have made better choices. You know, I'm an intelligent man. I'm not a dummy. You know what I mean? Like I said, I just self-medicated. I didn't do it to get high. But I went overboard. And when I went overboard, although I wasn't responsible for what I did while I was under the influence of PCP, I was responsible for being a man. You know, and when I fell short, I fell short. And that's what I have to live with, you know.
This might be the first time that I've ever said this in my life. I was going to the bathroom, and my parents' room door was cracked open enough where I could see my father laying on top of my sister.
When PCP left me get my sanity back, or, you know, when I came down, I'm standing in the house butt naked beside the bed. Lynette's standing right there. My kids in the door. You know, the accusations flew around and stuff, but the bottom line is I wouldn't hurt nobody. You know, but at the same time, I don't know what Mr. PCP done to me.
I've always struggled with him saying what he did and did not do, and if he did anything, it was because of the drugs. It's no longer I will not let that be an excuse for what I saw. And what I want to say to my father is that it ain't no more excuses after today. None. Nobody wants to hear those excuses anymore. Just own up to what you did and ask God for forgiveness.
I live with that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like I wrote a letter to the judge and I told him that, you know, I went into court. I didn't make no excuses. I pled guilty. My mother told me don't plead guilty. Don't go in there and do that. But I felt like I had just ruined, you know, the lives of my kids, my family life. I screwed it up for me. I threw myself on the mercy of the court. And, you know, and I guess the court seen me. I went into court, I had 300 letters from people that know me. Preachers, police officers, you know what I mean? Just people in the community, kids that know me, that said that the community would be a loss without this man. And so I got 6 months in jail, you know what I mean? So, but there's no joy in the memories that I have to live my life with, just regrets and knowing that I can't change them, and the best thing to do that is just to make amends. So that's what I'll try to do.
Real shit. If you got anybody out there that died, you miss a drink on the other brother, sister, nephew, homegirl, just I think prison destroys men's souls. And my brother went in, it was Greg Taylor, and the brother that got out was other brother. I don't have the love I used to have for the brother I loved once before. He stole it, he took it, he tried it, he lied it, he snuck it up and dragged it away, along with my respect. One night, another day. I don't love the brother I used to love, the way I used to love him, the way I don't love him anymore, the way I tried, you know. I can't understand the brother. I used to love the brother that now seems so damn far away. You know, another brother shook my hand and hugged me real good today, the way that other brother used to. You know, the one that stabbed his younger brother that day.
I blame my Uncle Greg, you know, for the fall of my family, the rise and fall, because when he was alive, he kept us all together, and when he died, everybody started to just go left, man. My grandmother died, my grandfather died, my dad been pretty much brain dead. The women have fared okay, but you know, women always need a strong man there. If there's no strong man there, then they just can do the best that they can, but the best that they can do was never enough for me and my family and in my life. So I say all that to say that my Uncle Greg's death just ruined us all. That night, October 1st, 2001, I was playing PlayStation 2, John Madden, And this is a game that, you know, I can't lose in. Then I get a knock on the door.
He sold to someone earlier that day. They came back, I don't know, after midnight, I guess. And I guess, you know, the policy was not to be serving anybody at that hour. You know, shops closed down. But, you know, I guess for whatever reason, you know, he opened the door.
And from behind him comes, you know, 3 other guys. And they kick in the door, and I fly back. And, you know, one of the guys runs in and starts to head towards the table where, you know, I have, you know, my product and my gun. And so I'm just worried about the gun.
And, you know, I've heard different stories. You know, they had the gun or he had the gun and they took it from him. I don't really know what happened in that situation, but I do know he got fucked up.
This other guy, the bigger guy, was rolling around on the floor. We were rolling around for what seemed like 10 minutes to me, but must have been about maybe even 10 or 15 seconds. And I started to ease the gun out of his hands. And when he felt that he might lose the gun, then he just started shooting wild. And, you know, I took a bullet in the upper chest area, real close to my heart. And one under the arm, one in the stomach, one in this arm. And I didn't know at that time, but we had broke loose. And when we broke loose, I crawled to my feet and took off down the hallway where I had another gun, you know, back under my bed. And I was rushing towards that, and I heard 2 or 3 more shots, and I fell to the ground. And I thought I was dead at that point because I couldn't move, and I was just laying on my face thinking that, you know, I'm dying or this guy's about to come up behind me and finish me off, you know?
And people want to say, you know, he didn't get shot 5 times and all that stuff. It's like, you know, he has a bullet hole, and, you know, everywhere that, you know, that he said he got shot, there's a bullet hole to, you know, prove it.
And my whole life flashed before my eyes. You know, when they say you get real close to death, your life flashes between your eyes, and you think that it's all bullshit. How can your whole life flash, you know, before your eyes? It happens, and it's real. It happens so fast, but so in detail that it is the only word that I can use to describe it would be God. Because I seen everything that I had ever did, the most important things that mattered to me in my life within a span of 5 seconds in detail, as if they were cut up and edited into a motion picture.
Yeah, I remember, you know, him being in the hospital, life support, coma, all that stuff, you know. We're not knowing what's gonna happen to him, where everybody in the family's frantic.
This might sound sick, but it almost makes you wanna revisit dying to get that feeling again, you know? Next thing I remember was waking up to 2 Los Angeles sheriffs, and you know, they wanted to know what happened, what they looked like, what was the purpose of the shooting. And you know, of course, we got that stop snitching clause, so I tell nothing, and I resume the rest.
I'm ready to die without a reasonable doubt. Smoke chronic and hit it doggy style before I go out. Until they sign my death certificate, all eyes on me. I'm still at it, Illmatic, and that's the dot.
Up in the hood, especially Compton, California, one of the worst ghettos in America. Friends come and go. Sometimes they move, sometimes they go to jail, sometimes they die. Tato has always been there, man.
you know, growing up, I mean, all my cousins are from the gang, you know, and I consider them my homies, you know what I'm saying? But they know that what route I took, and all the big homies respect that, you know what I'm saying? Wanted me to go and do something positive, you know what I'm saying, as far as the college thing. You know, Game was more, you know, as far as, you know, him into it with his moms and stuff, and then his pops and stuff like that, and then going to the foster home and stuff. So, and then moving in with his brother, he was seeing this stuff and drew him in. It kind of, I wouldn't say it forced him, but it was like, you know, either ride or die.
He went to college and I went off to play basketball in college.
Either you slinging rock or you got a wicked jump shot is pretty much is what he was saying as far as the hood.
Coming out of high school, 6'4", dunking on everybody, making the shots, and you know, you can do it all.
Yeah, Game was damn good. It still is good. You know what I mean? And he has a hell of a jump shot. If you give him a couple of feet, he gonna pull down and then pop a three on you in a second.
Right after I got shot, you know, I seen Tato driving through Compton. He came around to the house and he got out. You know, we talked for 2-3 hours, and we came outside, got in our cars, and Tato, I got in mine, and I was about to close the door, and Tato got in his, and then I hear 12 gauge shots. Boom, boom. Blew my fucking driver's side mirror off. And I looked back, and it was a guy in the street. Like it was a fucking Western movie.
You know, he realized, and I believe that, you know, once he really thought about it and evaluated the situation, he wanted to try something different. And I think that's the turning point where he said, I wanted to start rapping. I wanted to start writing rhymes and see if that worked. You know, the drug selling and stuff got me caught in this situation, so let me try to result to something different so I don't get caught up in this situation again.
I looked at him, he looked at me, and we've been around violence and shootings and drive-bys all our life. So we knew. We're alive. Fuck what just happened, man. Let's go this way from now on. And shortly after that, I got signed by Dr. Dre, and you know, friendship continued.
I was hearing a buzz in the street about Game from Compton on the rap scene, and then when he was getting on the mixtape team, when he was shot for a deal or whatnot, when we was bumping his, he was just like, fuck with me, man, on the next nigga. Bring the West Coast back, make that shit, fuck with me, man.
First met Dre, it was me being escorted in the studio where he was working at the time, working on Get Rich or Die Trying, and I was escorted in the studio by Mike Lynn, who at that time worked for Aftermath, and you know, I met Busta Rhymes for the first time, Nate Dogg and Dub C was in the studio, and I was just starstruck, you know, and I played, you know, my demo for him, or what seemed like one song on my demo, and he stopped it in the first verse and said, I want to sign you. And I looked at him in the face, and I just remember the look he had on his face, or the look his eyes told, is that he said, I want to sign you. But if we were on TV and there were subtitles going across the bottom of the screen as if he was speaking another language, you would see, young man, I want to help you change your life. That's what I took from it. And I capitalized off that situation to the utmost.
Looking outside in, there's definitely a father-son relationship there. Both ways, you know, I think Dre looked at him and seen a lot of aspects of himself. For Game, he looked at Dre and seen, you know, aspects of part of the man that he would like to be.
His heart was true, man. You know, Dre is very true. He speaks his mind. He tells you exactly what's on his mind. He lets you know. that he cares. And if he doesn't care, then he'll just say it, you know?
You know, with Dre, he's gonna make you do it until you do it right, until it sounds right, until it sounds perfect.
I always knew how to kick ass. I just needed to know how to do it properly.
Suburban can't stop the shots when I decide to serve them. NYPD, they looking at LA, I'm riding through DC. Top down, no need for AC,
Dre showed me how to record properly, how to fixate my voice so that it would come across as strong as it needed to for people to understand who I am and my story. And it's like when Dre's in your life and he's trying to help you with something, he's in your life and he's trying to help. Once he cuts that light switch off, you're gone. And he lives in the dark from there, at least in the presence of you. And I think that that's what happened.
He flew to New York and I hit the nigga like, man, you trust him, G Unit nigga? He's like, man, that nigga fifth, man, that nigga fifth. He seemed decent, man, he's a solid nigga, man. You know, I ain't gonna sign with this nigga, but you know, he's a solid nigga, he seemed cool, man. I'm gonna try to, they want to be like the modern NWA type shit, man, but I ain't putting shit on ink, I ain't putting shit on paper, man. I'm gonna just rub off and see what it do, man. And he came back.
50 was once like all of us, a boy with a dream, someone that despised where they were from and how they grew up and wanted to make a difference. Got brainwashed by a celebrity, lost control of himself, which today seems to be the only thing that he fears. Fears himself. He's not scared of the game, he's not scared of anything, he's not scared of dying. 50 Cent ain't no punk. He's not gonna lay down, he's not gonna bow down, he's not gonna back down from a fight or a war. Unless it's against himself.
Hey, yo. Hey, for those of y'all who don't know, just in case you didn't know, I just want to give y'all a little bit of information. They kicked me out of G-Unit, and I don't give a fuck, nigga. Who the fuck niggas thought I was? I ain't never no soldier, nigga. I'm a motherfucking captain of my boat.
50 came into a lot of money, a lot faster than a young man is normally supposed to. And that money controlled him.
You know, I don't know how much interaction they actually had with each other on a personal level. It's funny, I mean, you've heard everything, you know, the media has blown up everything about their arguments and their beefs and this and that, but for whatever reason, you know, 50 took Game's words harshly when Game said that he wanted to work with other rap legends. After that point was really when 50, I don't know what was going on in his head, but that's when he went to radio and said, hey, you know, I don't want this guy on my... He's not on G-Unit anymore.
Every snake is an individual. When they show snakes on like the Animal Channel, you never see just like 10 snakes kicking it cool. No, it's always that one slithering on its own. Only cares about itself. Self-preserved, you know, self-aware, just everything is selfish. And the biggest snake of them all is my nemesis, Curtis Jackson. His bite is vicious enough to kill your whole career. Game had the anti-venom. Come on, man. Laughing to the dog, they even find us in the club. And then Lloyd Banks loved it. Nigga got mad when the game started buzzing. Fuck you, the snakes, now I'm ready for the sub. But they're just talking about we a family, game had to go. Nigga, I smack that hoe like I'm Jack, yo. Cause I don't wanna be you, I don't wanna be you. I don't wanna shake hands or let you cheat on the shoe. Don't want you on my hooks, don't wanna be you. Just wanna sit here and wait. To be gone, so I can head back to the block. Fresh white night ass
spinning. For the friend up, if they don't get it, make the group gon' go things. I was the first one with it. 4 times flat, I done been there and did it. Ain't been the game and shit, and wipe my ass with it. They say the Lord give it, the Lord take it away. So I'm in the house on top of hip hop, and that's for the take. Niggas taking on me, they don't want Jason to play. And the DA waiting on Jason to make a mistake. So they gon' put.
I wrote a song with no hook that extended over 15 minutes long. I had to isolate myself from the world and go to that place in my mind where 50 and G Unit left me.
Yo, nigga, that nigga got epilepsy and stuff, nigga.
Make the G better. Can you see the G?
Mixtapes is where you start. You get big underground and you can accomplish anything mainstream. And the person that I learned that from was 50. He slayed the mixtapes. He was so heavy on the mixtape scene that Dr. Dre and Eminem had to give him $1 million to talk to him about signing Aftermath. That's how big it was. And look at 50 now. He's worth I don't know how many millions of dollars. 50 is a genius in that aspect. In other aspects, he makes, bad decisions. But I can definitely say that, I don't give him credit for my whole career, but I give him credit for, teaching me certain things and how to adapt to writing hooks, catchy hooks, catchy choruses to songs.
I said hate it and love it till the dogs to the top, and I'm gonna shine homie until my heart stop. You wanna hear the story on how I came to glory, the truth about all the songs the nigga 50 go for me, the hook, the West Side Story, the hook for hating and loving, the way in the Drake for him but never stayed in the public. I'm debating the subject when how it drops, so I give Curtis Jackson his props, and that's where it stops.
I heard 50 Cent on Hot 97, right? So, the nigga said, it ain't him talking, it's Olivia. It's Olivia talking, and she said, Game ain't part of our group, he had to go. Nigga, I smacked that hole like a Jackie O. So, I heard you bitch say that on the radio, right? So, I said, okay, they talking a little bit of shit, I ain't gonna mind it, right? So then the nigga Yayo got on, and he's like, hey, Mr. Potato there, we put him together. What? Nigga, I've been trying to Dre since day one, nigga, fuck G-Unit. So, 50 finally get on, he's saying how he wrote my album. My style ain't like his style. The nigga helped me on 2 hooks, I give him that. How We Do and the West Side Story, hate and love it. I wrote it by myself. And he say he wrote my whole album. Why the nigga ain't keep the songs for his shit? Cause my shit, the documentary is killing the massacre. So I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? So I piled up about 30 niggas from Compton. What I'm doing with 30 niggas from Compton in New York? Well, I got the money to fly my hood out. So I'm with 30 niggas in Compton. So we go up to the radio station and we just want to know what's popping. Like, why you talking all this shit, right? So I'm at the radio station outside. I'm waiting on 50 to come out the front door because I think it's only one way in or one way out. You know what I'm saying? That's the front door. So we just wait down there. The nigga sends the police security guards down there. As soon as we get to walking up the door, the police got scared and they start popping. And one of my niggas got hit. And but the media said 50 Cent shot at Kane and somebody fell. 50 Cent ran out the back door. He crawled out the rat hole. Cause the nigga didn't come out the front door. He went out the back door with 40 police.
Where 50 at? He be talking that gangster shit. I see my man Game out here. That's why I'm talking about some dolo shit, B. He ain't got no cops with him, none of that, B.
I would see Game in the neighborhood where you're not supposed to see a superstar of that stature right now. I still see Game in like the Ladera Center. I see him in Fox Hills Mall, and he's touchable.
Hey, I put game out here, baby. And the nigga ain't from New York.
And a lot of cats that I deal with, you will never see him in the inner city. And to that testament, I think he's a real dude.
Where you at right now? Oh, nigga. Boy, you roll it. You know what it is. Respect that, man.
Sometimes in the media makes me seem contradictory because one day I'll say fuck you and your life, and then the next day I have had time to analyze my thoughts and my views on the situation. But 50, when he gets angry, it's so much envy and malice and jealousy that 50 Cent sort of gets in the way of who Curtis Jackson is.
I got kicked out of G-Unit, no hard feelings. In the aftermath is me and Dre still chillin'. At a press conference, no more killing. Guilty conscience donated $500,000. And now Charlotte said hip-hop was over. The bigger the stunt, the more albums get sold. But 3 hollow tips left my nigga in the cold. In front of the radio station, bleeding in the snow.
You and 50 hostility, will it ever settle down, you think? Maybe like 5 more years?
It's just, it's funny. It's funny now. It's not even in the, you know what I'm saying, like, we're so crazy and scary and, the media is really hyping it and people using it for publicity. It ain't like that. It's just funny now.
Okay.
What goes around comes around.
So it's not rage or anything like this?
Yeah, I call it game time. Maybe Curtis Jackson and 50 Cent and Jayceon Taylor and The Game, maybe those 4 guys, because they're 4 guys, 4 different guys, individually driven. Maybe those 4 guys can get on the phone one day and whisper about the idea of maybe in this lifetime getting back into the studio and recording something.
When I say bounce, everybody bounce. Come on, bounce. Come on, bounce. Left side bounce. Middle bounce. Right side bounce. Everybody bounce. Come on, bounce. Bounce, 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 bounce.
I think that me and 50 were alike in a lot of ways, and 50 didn't like that. It's like, Dre had Snoop, gave Snoop an opportunity to be, who Snoop is today. Then Dre found Eminem and let him breathe and let him make his money and didn't, try to stunt his growth. Then Dre had 50. Did the same thing with 50. Let 50 reach his, potential, make all this money and very high profile celebrity status. And then there was me. And 50 just wasn't ready to move out the way from me yet. We never tried to work anything out because I never knew it was a problem. But every time I would walk out the studio, I wouldn't feel the same warmth. I didn't have that feeling that I had in the beginning, the early stages of my career when recording the documentary. I felt there was something missing, that there was love lost, and that I was abandoned. And I don't blame Dre because I don't blame anybody for anything, because we have to keep ourselves together and to make sure we're all right before we can reach out and help or touch anybody else. So I understood Dre's motive for cutting me off or not fucking with me or whatever it was that he was doing. I just know that that relationship dissolved and it was no more. And I needed no explanation or no excuse for it, because it's okay to be who you are and do the things that you think are going to better you. And if that thing was not to help Game at that point in time, then Game got to help itself.
Every time I'm in the studio, I capitalize, watch everything Dre did. Every time he touched the knob, you know what I'm saying? Every time he put one of his chest pieces in place, you know what I'm saying? Move one of his palms overhead. And he, you know, he's really, all hip-hop is the game, man. You know what I'm saying? And I study behind the best that did it, the best that ever did it, man, which is Dr. Dre. And I know I play this shit, man. I do this, man. Hey, Mr. Take the windows with your brain. I see young and up and coming, all I do is stop pain. You ain't trying to change the game, but I still stop pain. I ain't moved out the hood, still stay with the top chain. Niggas trying to throw salt in my name, woman trying to ball my name, niggas trying to throw my frame.
When everyone turned their backs on me, all the things that I had went through in the early stages, my childhood, teenage years, all that came back. Plus this new heavy weight of not being wanted on a label, having no help or no resources to really create, produce, and finish my next project.
With this industry, there's always rumors and speculation, and there's always, there's politics involved. You know, you have Game, who sold 5 million copies of that album, and they didn't really promote it, towards the end. After he had his feud with 50, they pretty much cut him off, It was the people that kept promoting that album. The people drove him to 5 million, and it was his personality that he displayed, and his depth and his willingness to say, hey, I'm not getting along with 50, but I'm not gonna let this guy roll over me, and it's that way of living for him that got him through, that got him into the second album. In this industry, most cats would have rolled over. They would have did the white flag thing and said, I give up, I'll go search for a deal, I'll try to go to this label, if I can't go to this label, I'll go to Koch, and go get an independent deal. He didn't back down, and he had good people around him, his manager, Jimmy Hitchman, and Czar Entertainment, and his A&R, Angelo. If he didn't have those guys around him and the core crew of people that remained loyal to him, because a lot of his original crew, some of them left, they weren't around.
Everybody leaves, just me, my thoughts, his pen and his pad. Oh, and the Black Gorilla. Black Gorilla start throwing me off the walls and punching me in the face. 808 Charles, whoa, shit, what the fuck is that? Charles on some gangsta shit. I'm a maniac, niggas tryna steal my shine. I gotta warn you not to cross that line, cause I'm a motherfucking maniac. Nigga, it's about that time to introduce him to that new Tech 9. My mama told me I'm a maniac. Don't trust me, nigga, cause I don't trust me, nigga. I'm a motherfucking maniac. So don't trust me, nigga, cause I don't trust me, nigga. I'm fucking insane. Glock 45, put it to my own brain. Blow the shit out, come back, that's why they call me Game. Yeah, I'm loco, got you rap niggas in a chokehold. Jermaine Dupri ass niggas, always rapping so-so. Always on my dick, jocking my car, jocking my bitch. West side, I'm on that gangsta shit. After Snoop, there'd be no more, except for me. I snuck in Dr. Dre's kitchen and stole the recipe. Cook crack on these dope ass beats. I got heat like Pacino, lyrical assassin. There will be no more beefing with these corny ass rap niggas. Kill a nigga on your song, never bust a gat nigga. Yelling out. I didn't want to go back to where I came from. I didn't want to start over. Wasn't ready for it. I was ready for the end. And the only thing that stopped me was, again, my little prophet. And I was mad at him for being in the way of me and what I thought to be my destiny, which was suicide.
In terms of the relationship between him and his father, and him being a father to his sons, Harlem and Justice, Definitely. He wants to be probably complete opposite, in some ways of what his father was, to him and how their relationship was.
And I start to realize that this loneliness, this emptiness that I was feeling, I needed to share. So I wrote one long verse that ended with, it's aftermath and ain't nothing after that. And when I finished my verses, I called my old friend, Busta Rhymes, and I asked him to come get on the song. He came down immediately, 10 minutes, he was there, heard the song, and he said, if you want me to get on the song and speak the truth about what I know about this situation, then I've got to tell the truth. I've got to speak the truth. I've got to let them know that you were hard-headed and that you didn't listen, and that these are some of the problems that have probably got you in this hole that you're trying to climb out. But climb out, my friend, climb out. When I finished that song, I understood. And after that song, the other songs came together like a puzzle. At that point in my life, I really wanted Dre to know that I loved where I was and that I would have been comfortable in his recording presence throughout the remainder of my career, even if it killed me, because that's when I was at my best. But what I didn't realize is people never stopped believing in me. People never stopped thinking that I was good and that I was great and that I was important to hip hop.
I watched him, initially in the beginning stages of the recording, and he wasn't a happy guy. He had a lot of weight on his shoulders. From day to day, he's still recording this album, but he doesn't know, what label is going to be on the back of his CD. Those things still had to be worked out and fixed and corrected and leveraged and politicked, and all of that stuff it's chaos.
What I tried to do was, as best I could, bring back every producer who helped mold me into one of hip-hop's elite MCs. Just Blaze, J.R. Rodham, Kanye West, another Einsteinic classic producer. Kanye he takes samples and makes heaven. Scott Storch. Of course, you got to be in his environment. You got to fly down to Miami, put on a little gold chain, and get in his realm. Who else, man? Jelly Roll, which is a hidden talent out here in California. Jelly Roll is one of the best producers that California has seen since a Dr. Dre.
A lot of people, Quiet as Kept, was waiting on this album to flop. But Game is a warrior, and he just wanted to get it done at any cost. And he had some positive help around him, and he was able to overturn those odds. So the vibe was strenuous, but it was a good vibe.
I don't like to call anybody. I don't like to call Kobe the new Michael Jordan, LeBron the new Kobe. I don't like to call Irvin Pope the new Dre, but it is what it is, man.
I landed the first song on The Doctor's Advocate, which is Looking at You. From that song, I landed 2 or 3 other songs on his current mixtape, which is 1 AM and Crazy.
EP is producing most of the shit on my next album, let's put it that way. And Cool and Dre are a tandem that are unstoppable, and we've already recorded, our first couple of tracks for my next album. But those are some of the producers, some of my friends that have really helped me weather the storm. He's one of the guys who I look up to in hip-hop, man, and I appreciate what he does. He appreciates what I does, man, and I mean what I do. And it's you always come out with a hit when 2 people, are fans of one another, man, and you get in and you just, you do it for hip-hop.
Frontin', I don't know for real. He wear pastel colors. I wear the pain of the Soledad brothers and them chrome gap busters. A R&B wife on the arm. I close shop. I show niggas they first Bentley. Fuck, I window shop. Show niggas they first ice. Now they like I love you. Remember when they hustle? Was trying to sue Russell for what some other nigga did to him. Sounds sickening. That's why I cut him off. Word to God, he was snitching in.
The initial part of this, it was challenging for him. I definitely feel that it was challenging, but at the same time, it was motivating. And I think, some of the things that transpired actually helped him to write better, to really be able to illustrate his true feelings.
Big things come in small packages, motherfucker. Yeah. You crazy, I say when them niggas gon' shoot. You crazy, I say when them niggas gon' drop something. You don't really want a nigga, better stop frontin', cause when them things come out, we gon' drop something. You crazy, I say when them niggas gon' shoot. You crazy, I say when them niggas gon' drop something. You don't really want a nigga, better stop frontin', cause when them things come out, we gon' drop something. Man, look at the wheels, the motherfucking wheels. Black Lowenhart's blood, you niggas know the deal. Fuck Lamborghini doors, nigga, I ride stock. And fuck your new rap niggas, homie, I buy pot. Dude told me long time ago, joy is pain. You sell 5 million records, some shit gon' change. It was right, I traded the coupe and got me a range. No ice to play. Most of my enemies, my foes, the people that despise me, about face, they came back with handshakes.
Now, it's not hard for him to illustrate his true feelings on a regular basis, but I mean to really go inside of, how he's feeling and to express that with everything that had transpired, I think, that was the biggest motivating factor.
This what people don't know, is the niggas of Kobe Bryant. He sit there and he watched this game. He watched it, he studied it, he soaked it up. The nigga just sit there and he watch all these artists fall back. He watch them. He watch Dre. He watch Fifth. You know what I'm saying? He studied NWA. He idolized it because he got NWA in his chest. So I seen the nigga game in the rare form, from a businessman to a father to a friend to a motherfucking beast in that booth.
If my team block, get ready for the ride. Dip my shoulder pads, I'm coming right at you, heard them. I'm down by a shoestring tackle. First to 10, bring the chains out. My fullback lead, and I'm running the same route. Defense close the gap, nowhere to run to. Cracked by a linebacker, offensive fumble.
I seen the struggle, I seen the strength, and I seen a nigga bounce back. So the Doctor's Advocate was special to me because when he was going through the songs, to just sit there and be amazed because there wasn't no nigga in the booth but him.
And to see the end, you know, the completion of the album, he was happy. You know, he was elated. You know, it was you know, he knew that he put together by himself, you know, not necessarily by himself, but by himself as an artist, a great album, you know, that meant something, you know, that had substance to it.
When I first met Face, I met the nigga over the phone, and he was like, man, I heard of you. You know, we talked or whatever. And at the time, I'm gonna skip it up, it was like, he was a real good-hearted person. Like, he always had that quiet look on his face. And on his neck, I used to always admire the nigga because he had my brother's keepers tatted on his neck. And that's Game's older brother. So when I seen that, I was like, whoa.
He's my brother, and he's always gonna be my brother. If any harm ever comes his way, then we back to back until it disappears. It's my brother. I love him to death, and you'll probably be able to tell him before I will, but that's just what it is, man. We're family, and at the end of the day, it's the only thing that matters.
Oh, nigga, look what you said. I know, nigga, but I'm just saying, nigga, what? Nigga, I mean, what? Nigga, no, nigga, I know how you get down. Stop it. Nigga, this ain't the lobby of motherfucking Hot 97. I'm going, okay? BET, nigga. Stop it. Nigga, this ain't DC.
The thing that happened in DC totally had nothing to do with me. I wasn't present when whatever happened to that dude happened. I was upstairs conducting a radio interview, and I hope that dude is all right and whatever he's going through. You know, I hope that he settles it with whoever he's dealing with, because you know, I didn't put no hands on that dude. I wouldn't touch him, and I know, you know, the repercussions of what can happen when you put hands on somebody, especially being, you know, who I am. So I didn't lay one hand on that dude. He's suing me for $280 million, and I'm about 275 short.
Hip-hop got the game. Aftermath. Leave me alone.
What did you do?
It is. That's what a hip-hop got.
You gonna personally deliver it to him?
No. He's sitting that with some donuts, man.
I'm gonna take it down. He gonna get the donut. Get the fries. Alright, man. Alright, here we go. Oh, he found somebody.
Hey, do me a favor, kids. You guys be down with it? It's on me on finance, right? Can you deliver them these donuts and coffee bar? If they don't want it, you can have it, okay? Yeah. Give it to them, alright? If they don't want to drop the donuts on their lap, alright? Not the coffee, just the donuts. Tell them to come to the game.
Just drop it on there and just walk away. No for Nancy.
No. Listen to me. Don't be cute. Because see, I did you a favor. You take no. Don't do that. Listen to me. I didn't play you for simple. You take this, go give it to somebody, or you put it in the garbage. I told you to walk over there and get that CD because I wanted you to have it. Alright? But don't listen to him and don't let him play you for stupid. Little boy, what did you do?
I really never had anything good to say about the police. I think that people just like me and you that are brainwashed, and the North Carolina incident is just another one of those cases where that fact is proven true. We're doing nothing in here but shopping and signing autographs for kids and you know, doing those things. But one of my cousins had a Freddy Krueger mask on, and of course the media says Game had the mask on because it just seems like, you know, I don't know, it's bigger and better when it's sound, and it does more to, you know, tear away at who I am. And the mall security came at him and told him to take off the mask. And he took a little bit longer than they thought that he should, and they put their hands on him. So I told him to take their hands off of him, and that we would leave them on. We're on our way out anyway. They called for backup or the sheriffs, and when I guess they made the call, they said the game's in here, and he's got an entourage of being unruly, so 20 cops came. And they're pulling on people in my entourage, yanking them to the side, this and that, just for no reason. And of course, me, the biggest voice, the person that's always going to voice their opinion, tells them in their face that they're blatantly wrong and they're blatantly disrespecting, and this is, unconstitutional. This is not supposed to happen. You are abusing your authority. So, I addressed the situation, and before I know it, I was getting tackled to the ground and sprayed with mace. And was put in the back of a squad car and taken down to a police station and released on, my bond when it was posted, not, shortly after that.
How has the success and the money and the traveling around the world with your music, how has that changed who you are?
It hasn't changed who I am one bit. I'm still the same person. But it has indeed broadened my horizons. You know what I'm saying? I've seen places that I never thought that I would, never thought I would set my foot. But, I'm here, man. I'm in London. I've been here over, 10, 15 times. And every time I come, I'm able to bring, some more of my homies and so they can see something other than just being stuck in Compton for the rest of their life.
You know what I mean? I let your boy smoking big where it's legal. It's really legal. Go get that shit from a bar. You wish you could go pick up a sack at Fridays?
We got the Diesel. We got the Cambodian haze, nigga. You ever had some Cambodian haze, nigga?
I want titanium.
Cantaloupe. Then we got the hash Himalaya. Ooh. Turkish. And extreme. I like to call that the BMX hot, nigga.
The game is a costume that Jayceon Taylor puts on when he needs to perform the duties that only the game can perform. I'm out of that costume a lot more than in it. And I'm Jayceon Taylor for the good portion of 80% of my living days.
That's right, darling. She's so incredible.
I got some TV show coming. Y'all remember that TV show called The Bachelor? What's your name? It's The Bachelor.
Next time you say my name, put some bass in your voice. Mr. Carter is a pimp, that's why he got the rock. And got you two young bitches selling top on the block. You can't stop cause you never started. And both of y'all niggas sound pretty retarded. Why did y'all get pimpin' started? Two young girls who still get carded. One of y'all sucks and the other's garbage. It ain't no secret, it's common knowledge. And I could've let you slide, but I'm too cold-hearted. And I hope you had enough to realize this. You just got slapped by a fake ass pimp.
Yo, it's the game, man, and I'm walking y'all around my crib, you know what I'm saying? This is just MTV Ghetto Cribs, and this right here, man, I only pulled this out on Crenshaw, man. Back, you know what I'm saying? Me and the homies used to ride this back in '94 down Crenshaw, man. We got the, you know what I'm saying? We got the 50-inch gold Daytonas on the front. We got the 100 inches on the back, man, you know what I'm saying? So all you niggas roll around on dubs, that ain't shit, man. I'm rolling around on hundreds, man.
If you want to know, yes, Quibby made you. I like you, but not this far.
Don't be a pussy, man. Go for it. Go for it, man. Come on, man.
White boy's about to bust his ass on the skateboard outside with me. I'm on the stairs.
Look, you about to do it. You about to do it.
Oh, good shit, homie. Oh, God. He busted his ass.
You gotta make it tough.
How nigga playing this? Nigga look like he about to play for straight. Master wasn't fake. Here you go. 20 American for you. Plenty American for you. 20 for you. Alright?
Flip the game.
Don't mess up.
Don't let your barber tell you when it's cool now, man. Alright? Alright. Barber may see something. Be on stage looking like anyone went down here. I'm cool, man. It's too low, man. It's too low.
Even in trust me.
No, it's even right now, man. Just line the back.
You in the game.
That's what you call a motherfucking PT performance, nigga. West Coast, nigga. Los Angeles King, no hockey bastards. When you try to hide your face, you get shot in the ass. Yeah, I can grab my nuts now. Shit, I'm back in the game. Now, you can keep that one.
Walking down the street and my all-stars and my khaki suit, doing what I do. Walking down the street, smoking chronic in my black loops, looking at you.
Guess who's back on the West Coast tracks? It's the motherfucking Messiah against the rap. Still dipping the 6-4, still puffing on the same chronic. Haters mad cause I still got it. I never fall off, even without the doc. You niggas selling your soul, trying to stay on top. Bitch nigga, check your Kotex. You niggas ain't moving shit like the hand on a fake ass rope. 12 months, I done lost a few friends. Had my baby mama bust the windows out of my Benz. Hip-hop police on me every city I'm in. Well, hell, me and Lo, we dipping again. 3-wheel motion, chrome spokes on the rims. Run up on us, watch the 38 revolver spin. I'm rich game, bitch, I done made a few mil. Now the 6'4" Impala got a power wall grill. They say I moved out the hood, I ain't keeping it real. So I took the projects, put them on top of the hill. I'm hungry, still rap like I ain't got no deal. You can pop that crystal, but nigga I pop still. I'm going diamond, I put that on my unborn child. I'm almost there, I done ran 99 miles. Bitches they used to diss me, they feeling me now. Say I rap like I'm from New York, and they like my style. You crazy, I say when the niggas gon' shoot. You crazy, I say when the niggas gon' drop something. You don't really, you can blood bounce, you can straight up crip walk with me. You know what I do, I'm from the CPT. It don't matter if you from Inglewood or LBC. Nigga, this how we do, nigga, this is true. You can wear blue or you can throw straight up pyro. It don't matter, this is real gangbang shit. Nigga, Pitbull on my fucking chain hang shit, yeah.
Then yeah, you know a nigga high. When I'm on stage, I be whipping up shit. Niggas on the sideline, can't believe the shit. Snoop Dogg, how you do it? And now you got the laptop. When you on the microphone, and you don't never stop. You go on and on till the break of time. You wake bitches and you smoke all the comfort zones. How you do it, dog? How you be so cool? You a player, man. Your game is hella cool.
Now, Uncle Snoop, I'ma tell him to hold up. Remember Doggy Style? Well, this is what I wanted to be when I grow up. A red ragger, dead tagger. Catch you slipping in my hood, I'm a 44 mag.
It'll fuck you up too.
No, that's how you gotta think about it. You gotta think about when you wrote it, and then you listen.
It fucks me up. It fucks me up when I see motherfuckers singing it. Like I might see an old ass lady singing it, and I might fuck up and forget the next 2 or 3 lines because I'm tripping off the old lady singing it. So I don't watch them, you know what I'm saying? It's so crazy. They do everybody. They do my mama like that. They do everybody, man. That's why I got them, man. I'm like the president, man. They gotta protect me, man. Once they know you are
all right, nephew, you all right, man. You got the big aftermath chain, you gotta get you one of them Black Wall Street chains. That's the thing, you put a Black Wall Street, let that nigga in. You got the aftermath chain, they like, hold on.
Ain't nothing like that. I jumped in the crowd in Paris.
The damn fool over there, I loved every minute of you, though. I said, boy, you was a crazy motherfucker, man. I love that about you. They said, yeah, they took my shoes, my wallet, everything. I didn't give a fuck. Then I threw $5 in the crowd. I said, God damn, man, you living a life.
I left that legacy, I ain't having it. I left that legacy down. 201s look like 8,000 now. I'm not doing that no more, man. I gotta get it right.
Well, you say the 21 look like 8,000?
8,000, nigga, I start throwing them.
I said, yeah, I called home, I told my son, he's like, what game do I said, that nigga crazy, Spank. That nigga threw $5,000 in the crowd. He said, ooh, I want to come to the show.
You know, I think after he finished that, at the end of the day, you know, I'm sure he had, you know, goals and ideas of what numbers he thought he would do with the album, but I don't think it mattered. You know, I really don't think it mattered. I think this album really was about him displaying that, hey, I am my own man, I am a great artist, and I am a great artist because Dr. Dre gave me the tools to be able to do that, you know, to be able to rise above. And I mean, to me, that's what he's done with this album.
He took his struggle, swallowed it, came out to be a man.
I want to take this time right now to make amends and say I'm sorry. In my right mind, I never would have hurt anyone. I love everybody. And what I would love to see in this family is everybody having a great big old family reunion and getting together and kicking it like the Taylors are supposed to. And to my kids, my greatest luck, and I hope you guys are safe and make all the money in the world and all the friends and change the world because you can.
I am who I am. Just let me be who I am. If you don't have anything positive to say about me or to bring to my life, just disappear, because I don't need you in my life. I don't need anybody in my life except the people who genuinely love and care about me and my well-being and my sons. If you're not one of those peoples, then just stay the fuck out of my life. Stop fucking with me, leave me alone. I'm not a dollar sign, so stop trying to blame me for shit that I didn't do. If you're in the media and you want to write something or you want to talk about me or my life, at least do it truthfully and stop blaming me for things that happened where I have no control of, and making it seem like I'm making me out to seem like I'm some vicious demon, or I'm possessed by entities other than Jesus Christ, because I'm not. Just a man with 2 sons on a mission to secure the future of my family financially by any means necessary. And I don't know, just stay out of my way, because those are things that are going to be accomplished before my demise. And I don't know, I guess the last thing I'll say is there is life after the math.
Sitting on the wall, sing children. You live on, you gon' live on. It don't matter that you're gone, you gon' live on. Do the words that I say. Ooh, I'll see you again one day. If everybody wanna, this was for everybody that's gone. This was for y'all, listen, live. You gon' live on. You gon' live on through the song. You gon' live on.
matter that you're gone, you gon' live on. The little words that I say, I'll see you again one day. Yo, Marcus, I remember them junior high years. We were going to school, glad to be there. And all we ever wanted was to be the best. Grew up in different cliques, but threw up the same set. I was doing my music thing way back when. You were playing ball, we became the best of friends. Who would've thought in 2004 you would've been gone? I'd have been doing this music thing all alone. Don't trip, my nigga, your memory gon' live on. Every time I sing the words of this song, sing for me, children. You gon' you gon' live on. It don't matter that you're gone. Nigga, you gon' live on. Pac, you gon' live on. Yeah, you gon' live on. Left Eye, you gon' live on. Jam Master Jay.